what you tell me. I know I'm not worthy. But I try my best to follow that word of Christ. I come to serve and not to be served. Remember my first promise to all of you when I arrived in this church 3 months and 7 days ago. Well, you may not. Let me refresh your memory. Well, I may have to begin pre-preaching my homily so that you... I told you I am not going to be here to be the holiest priest you ever met in your life. Not to be the best preacher you ever heard. And surely not to be the most handsome priest you ever seen. But I promised you 3 months and 7 days ago that I'm here to be with you and for you. I told you, remember, and many of you laughed. I said, you call me and left me a message, and I don't return your call within 24 hours. What do? You call 911. It means I am dead. That's my promise. And I hope and I pray that I have kept up to that promise. The promise of serving the people of God. Surely, as a priest, I receive a lot of privileges, I call. Not that I'm entitled to those rights, but I receive a lot of privileges granted to me by the people of God, by the love that you have and you share with us. 2 weeks ago, we talked about times and talents. This week, it's my task to talk about the treasures. But my dear friends, it's God who serves us. It's not we who serve God. Because whatever we do to God doesn't make Him any bigger or nicer. We gave Him a $200 million we won last night. Doesn't make that His church any bigger. Doesn't give Him any more power. But humanly speaking, we realize we too here at Santa Teresa, through your generosity, we have built this building. And believe it or not, we are moving forward to the church building. We talked to the bishop 3 days ago when he was here, and that's where we're moving forward. But bills need to be paid. That's one thing I tell Father Michael of us, and I told every priest, including the bishop in this diocese, I publicly spoke that out. I don't want to be a pastor. Not that I don't have what it takes. I just don't want to be one. That's not what I'm called to do. Become a pastor, you worry about too many things. Money shortage. This needs to be fixed. That needs to be fixed. Toilet is broken. Roof is broken. Do we have money for this ministry? That ministry. Too much for us to call to be a priest. I like to be what we so-called the assistant. So that I can be the priest that I'm called to be. To serve the people in the capacity I'm called to serve. I told Father Michael when I first arrived here. I told him, I said, you don't need to do anything. Sit there thinking and go to meetings and make money. I do the rest. And my job is 1/10 of yours. We're grateful for generosity, but we cannot do it alone. Or we're just a group of people who are faithful to this parish and only contribute and based on those people. Each and every one of you are called to be part of this parish. Not just in a spiritual way, that's the greatest thing, but in another way, a way to supporting us to move forward as well. Father Michael tell me that if after my talk this weekend, if the money give up, I will have a 10% cut of the increase. If whatever is go down, my salary will be deducted. And let me be openly tell you, I receive, let me make sure so I don't lie to people, about $19,000 a year, my salary. And wow, that's going to be a big cut for me if they cut about $1,000 a week. My dear friends, it's conveyed a truth. I don't stand here and lie. I'm stand here and invite each and every one of you. First, to follow Christ. and to do your part to build the church. I read this one somewhere. There's a story about 4 people named everybody. You might have heard this. Somebody, anybody, and nobody. There was an important job in the church to be done. And everybody was asked, like today, to do it. Everybody was sure that somebody, rich people, would do it. Because anybody could have done it, but nobody did it. Then somebody get angry about it, because it's everybody's job. Everybody thought anybody could do it, but nobody realized that everybody would not do it. It ends up that everybody blamed somebody, when nobody did what everybody could have done. My dear friends, I can stand here and talk as much as I like. But will it get into your mind is not important. Will it get into your heart is the most important. God has blessed you and I abundantly. How much we share, I don't use the word return, remember? How much we share with God and His church as a sign of thanks is up to you. And if you and I, we are really honest, if you and I, we are really honest, when we go to a restaurant, a high-class one, or even just a low-class one, you tip the server 10% or 50%, depending on how well they serve you. At the end of time, when each and every one of us, you and I, we will be seated at that table of that banquet. And we hope and we pray that as we sit down, there will be a young, handsome-looking man walk up with a white towel with the sign of the cross on his hands. And he will say, "My name is Jesus. Welcome to my Father's house. And I be your server today." Now think about it. Would you tip God the same you tip another server? Let us stand.